time. It's our time, my friends. Time for millions of maturepreneurs, 55 plus, who are hashtag not done by a long shot, to revolutionize how we lead, do business, and innovate our world. I'm your host, Jeanette Anderson, and welcome to my conversations with fascinating people who would rather inspire than retire. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Maturepreneur podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest, Jeanette Anderson. Today, I'm here with Fred Moskowitz, who's joining us from Philadelphia. Is that what I remember?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because, I asked you at least a good 3 minutes ago, so God forbid I should remember that. Anyways, welcome, Fred. And today we are going to be talking about all things financial, investment, and money. So those of you who just went, oh my God, and maybe glazed over, don't worry. Fred will make it understandable and interesting and support you with how you're going to fund this next chapter of your life. And those of you who are like, yippee, yahoo, we'll be talking about mortgage note investment funds and all sorts of interesting kind of deep options that I have no clue about, even though I was a financial planner for 2.5 years, another lifetime ago. So welcome, Fred. I'm glad you're here. And I am probably not going to talk much because I have very little to add in the way of whatever you're talking about. But let me tell you about Fred. Then we're going to find the juicy details behind the scene and then launch into our conversation here. So Fred Moskowitz is an educator and best-selling author who's trained countless investors from all walks of life on how to create passive income streams of their own. As a fund manager, Fred manages an mortgage note investment fund. You try saying that 5 times fast. And is considered an industry veteran within the note investing arena. Fred teaches the concept that individual investors are able to step into the shoes of the lender through note investing and effectively be the bank. Fred takes pride in collaborating with investors to help them grow and profit in the note space, as well as being a trusted and valued resource in the arena of alternative investments. His new book is titled The Little Green Book of Note Investing, is bringing forward its favorite strategies to readers everywhere. So there we go. This is it. I love that there's people who are passionate about stuff that I could not care less about, because then that means everybody's covered. So that's a good thing. All right. Are you like me when you're on a podcast or a stage or whatever, and they're reading your bio that you've heard 12,000 times, you're just trying to look really interested and, and at the same time, it's like, oh my God, this goes on forever. Is that like that for you, or are you still having fun listening to your bio?
Every day is a new experience, a new interaction, and I love that.
Oh, that's good.
I love that, right? Each person has a different interpretation and different way of speaking, so many unique aspects, and I love leaning into those distinctions because it's part of the human experience, isn't it? The interaction, face to face, whether it's in person or online, like we're doing here. This is what makes life rich. It's the experiences and interactions that we have on a day-to-day basis.
That's a great answer, Fred. All right, so tell us something about you that people would be surprised by, that we're not going to find on your website or anything like that. Maybe even your best friend doesn't know. So tell us something about you.
Well, I love investing, right? Obviously, it's a big topic for me. But in another area of investing that many people may not automatically think about is investing in your health, and your wellness. And that's something that's really big for me. Big into fitness and exercise, and I love it. I love the feeling of blood pumping heartily from my heart, oxygen's going to my brain. It gives energy, it gives focus and clarity. And so just about every day at the end of my workday, I'm down at the gym training.
Wow.
And I love it. And, this is a way that each person, you can invest in your health and your wellness. Because if you don't have that, you're going to end up spending all of your money trying to recuperate your health.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
So
that's pretty committed to be there every day, or
most days, but within reason, right? But it's something that I've seen many people, especially in the space I'm in, they chase after money, work, chasing after money, chasing after that dollar, and they neglect their health and wellness. They don't eat right. They don't sleep right.
Yeah.
Sedentary lifestyle, all of these things, they're all choices. And so there are choices available to everyone, and it's a matter of prioritization. How important is it for you? Because if you make it important, then you're going to focus your attention and intention on that. And so something that you may not have known about me, it's a big area that I love. I love putting that into practice, and I love talking about it with others. It's wonderful. And so very important. Whatever you do, you don't have to go to the gym and all this, but get some movement, get some activity, go out for a walk, take your puppy for a walk, go in the park. If you have a lunch break from work, go out and walk around if it's a nice day out, and just enjoy being out in nature and get some movement in, especially if you're sitting all day like I am. Right? All day I'm working, I'm on the phone, I'm on the computer. And so it's something I really look forward to doing every day, getting in some movement.
That's awesome. I love having gone to the gym. I not so much love getting to the gym, but I love having gone to the gym.
I can relate.
Yes. So why are you so passionate about investing? So it's not necessarily just how you got into it, but tell us about your why. What's your purpose in life?
Well, my purpose in life is to impact people in a very positive way. And so when it comes to investing, it's something I've been doing for decades. And when I was starting out, I had the fortune of learning from some of the top experts in real estate investing. And one of the lessons that I learned early on, I was in this training session all day, really intense. We learned so much. At the end of the day, the person presenting and training, he said, listen, the main takeaway I want you to leave with from here is you learned a lot of great concepts and techniques and strategies. Go out in the world, put them into practice, be successful, make a lot of money, and then once you've gotten there, then turn around and teach someone else that's just starting out, someone younger that's just getting started, and repeat the cycle again. And so that's something that always has stuck with me, because I've learned and benefited so much from having wonderful mentors and teachers and colleagues that I've learned from over the years. And it always feels good to give back, to teach others. It's a big part of what I do. That is why I love doing interviews and speaking at investment conferences, presenting trainings, because it's a way for me to share my body of work with others so others can learn. So can I play with you a bit about your why?
Because
Sure.
what you mentioned was that you love impacting others positively, and you just talked about loving teaching other people and passing on the information that you have, which is great. But in my world, those are all what's. So what you do. What you do is impact people positively. You pass on knowledge and information. Why does it matter to you so much that people learn how to create wealth, or that people learn how to be financially secure, whatever is that kind of bottom line for you? Why does
Yeah.
it matter to you so much?
Well, I'll share with you something about my background. I came from having a long and successful career working as a computer engineer in the tech industry, which is awesome, amazing. I came up through the time of the dot-com boom, which was it was a wild roller coaster.
Yeah.
I worked at all these different internet companies, startup companies. It was a fantastic experience, but it was a crazy roller coaster ride. We had the dot-com boom, and then immediately after was followed by the bursting of the dot-com bubble. We had the September 11th terrorist attacks. All of this turmoil, industry got flipped upside down almost overnight. And what it made me realize was that no matter how good of an engineer I was or how valuable of an employee I was, if things were not going well at the company or in the industry I was in, that I could quickly lose my job through no fault of my own. And so this made me realize that I was taking on this huge risk because I was relying on my paycheck from my work as my only source of income.
Right.
And so this is what got me so interested. The pain got to a point where I said, I need to change something. And I turned to alternative investments. Why alternative investments? Well, alternative investments is all about buying and building assets that you can control and own, and they generate income for you. They generate cash flow. And so that was very appealing to me. And that's what really, really got me started back then. And so it's something that we don't learn about in school growing up, not even in university. You learn about it from being with other people that are successful at it. That's what I've found.
So I still hear some of that as a what, the alternative investment and so forth. But in between that, what I heard, and I think it's a really important point, we are trained, or in our society, we've been brought up to, and especially our generation, boomers and Gen Xers, to believe that you follow the path. You go to school, you get a degree, you go get a good career, you climb the corporate ladder, you get married, you have 2.5 kids and a white picket fence, then you retire and life is good. And that is a secure path. That's your way to security, is to get a job. But what you said was, it's actually very risky to rely on a job for your income. And that's true. That is the new reality, and has been for quite a long time. But most people don't think of it that way. They don't think of a job as being risky. But you're absolutely right. All the control is out of your hands. It's in the hands of other people. And whether they make good decisions or not, whether or not the industry, is impacted by other countries, or various things that are going on. So there is a great deal of risk in being an employee, especially nowadays. And that was not, people have not been brought up or haven't shifted our thinking around that, which is why I've always been a big advocate of entrepreneurship, is because we have more control. There is still it's an illusion. Control is an illusion all the time, but we have more say in what happens because we can control our effort and our focus and what we're doing. But it's an interesting perspective. So really what I hear is part of what you wanted to do is support people in taking some of the risk out of their lives and being more secure. And one of the ways to do that is to have more than one way of creating income. So
absolutely. This is exactly the point. Is having a career is great, or a job. Do what you love. All that I encourage you and invite you to keep in mind is, don't let that be the only thing, the only way you have income. That's all.
Yeah.
Diversify. When we talk about diversifying in investments, right?
Yeah.
Very solid principles. Carry that over to your sources of income. Diversify them. Have more than one.
Yeah.
And that way you can
spread some of the risk.
de-risk.
Yeah. Depending if you know what you're doing, right? I was a financial planner for 2.5 years, which is kind of scary because really my level of expertise was not all that great. It was in terms of what I learned and what I knew, but it wasn't in terms of big picture. It's really hard for people to know everything about finance or tech or any industry. But one of the things that was advocated there, of course, was buy funds, because then you're diversified across industries or sectors or various things. Somewhat true if the person who's running the fund knows what they're doing, etc. But just diversification for the sake of diversification doesn't necessarily mean you're safe. So let's talk about what you were talking about in terms of notes. What does that mean? Define what that is for people, and how and when can or should they get into those?
Yeah, absolutely. Note investing is a niche area of real estate investing. Real estate investing is very familiar to most people, right? Most people have heard of it or know someone that does it. And investing in real estate can take many forms, whether it's having rental houses or owning commercial property or multifamily property, or maybe even a vacation property. People that like to operate short-term rentals on the different rental platforms. Those are all ways to invest in real estate, where you buy and own the property and rent it out. However, let's not overlook the fact that all of those homes, that real estate is usually purchased with some kind of financing. And so with note investing, we can talk about investing in that financing. It's the paper, the notes and mortgages associated with all those different properties. And I feel like this is such an interesting part of the real estate business, and most real estate investors, they don't pay any attention to it. For most people, when they think of a note and a mortgage, they think about being the borrower and not as being the lender. Right. But with note investing, it allows you to buy a note, step into the shoes of the lender. And when you do that, you're stepping across the aisle and transitioning from being the one making the monthly payments to being the one receiving the monthly payments.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it makes sense to me, just as you say it, that the benefit of it is you get to participate in the real estate market and the potential upsides in that, but you don't have to manage the house and take care of getting the washer replaced and make sure you've got
exactly,
and all the pain in the butt that comes with owning and managing property. So all you have to do is make sure that you get paid. And so you may have to do some collections, but other than that, you don't have the headache of managing real estate.
That's exactly right, Jeanette. A lot of people they may like the idea of real estate, but they just don't have time or not interested to take on all the work of rental properties. It is a lot of work. It's a great strategy, but it's not for everyone. And so this is a different approach.
Yeah, it is, and it makes sense. But how much money do people have to get into something like that? Because it sounds like something where you would have to have a lot of capital.
You do have to have capital. Note investing is a capital-intensive activity. There's usually not any financing. So unlike buying a house where you put a down payment and then you can finance the rest, if you buy a note, you you're paying all cash for that transaction. So that is a major distinction there. And a lot of times for someone that might be starting out in life, don't have a lot of capital yet, there's other strategies, or maybe you do buy real estate, put in all that work. It is a lot. However, it can be very lucrative, but you're utilizing that leverage to help get you to where you want to be. And what I've seen often in the space I'm in is that people that have had rental properties or real estate for 10, 15 years, 20 years, and then they sell it. They say, hey, I'm done with this. I've made out pretty well, made appreciation and has grown wealth. They might sell it and then reinvest that money into notes. So that's a strategy I see a lot.
So when we're talking, you have to have capital. Are we talking 100,000, 500,000, 5 million? What kind of capital do people have to, or should people have to get started in the
market? It's all across the board. There are small balance notes that might be a couple thousand, 5,000, 10,000, and then it goes all the way up, into millions and everything in between. However, I don't recommend buying low balance loans for the reason that it's the same amount of work and risk and effort in one deal than it is for something that's 10 times the size. That's so you have that dynamic there. So that was a mistake I made early on when I was starting out. I bought a couple of loans that were like $4,000, $8,000 loan balance, and then I had to do all of this work, and I learned a lot in the process. I made some money, not very much, but in the end, the big lesson for me was I don't think I'm going to do that again, because buying that $4,000 note, I would have had to put the same amount of work in if it was a $40,000 note or a $400,000 note. Right. Same amount of work and effort. And so that was a distinction. So I would say, you do want to have capital available to invest, and you have to determine each of you determine your own timing and risk tolerance, how much work you want to put into this activity, and then go from there.
Well, and so I'm assuming, of course, that people can get your book, the Little Green Book on note investing. I think I'm going by memory for the title, but from Amazon and or from your website. Is that
it's called The Little Green Book of Note Investing. Yeah, for most people, Amazon is a great option, and get it delivered pretty quickly.
Yeah, and so they can find out more about that. Are there funds that you can participate in that are where you invest and there are. There's mortgage funds and things like that. So I'm assuming that's what that is basically note funds.
Yes, it is for someone that maybe likes the idea of investing in mortgage notes, but doesn't want to be hands-on with it. Mm-hmm. You can invest in a note fund, and a note fund, as you mentioned, they'll raise capital. They'll pool it together and then go out and buy notes and manage the portfolio and do a lot of that heavy lifting. And for an individual investor, it allows them to leverage the experience and expertise of the fund managers and the relationships they have, the access to notes. And so that can be a great option for someone that is looking for that. And so you know, there's two ways to get involved in note investing. You can go out on the secondary mortgage market, buy individual notes, put together a portfolio, or you can invest in a fund, and that's going to be more passive. And maybe you are a busy professional focused on your career, or you're focused on enjoying your retirement, or doing other activities, running your business. You don't have a lot of time, then maybe a passive approach could be better for you. But there's no right or wrong answer on that. It just depends for each of you. What are your individual desires and circumstances?
And so, who does someone go to if they want to find notes to invest in? Their banker or a mortgage broker or realtors? Who are the people who make arrangements for private investment like that?
Yeah, note investors. There's it's all relationship based. It really is. So getting involved in a investment community, or going to different conferences and events. That's the way to meet people, because you can go to a big note investment conference. There'll be several hundred note investors there, and there'll be people that are looking to sell notes. There'll be people looking to buy notes, and everyone gets together in one room, and so transactions can happen.
That's the route to go, is to go and immerse yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's through personal relationships. That's the best way.
Okay. So, because I'm assuming that bankers, for instance, don't want private investors. They're investing the bank's money, so that so the bank makes the money. So it wouldn't be a banker you would go to. It would probably be either a mortgage broker who knows someone who does that, or that kind of thing. If you wanted to just reach out initially, or just Google note brokers, is that what you would do if you wanted to find people in your area or something?
There are, but I always recommend building relationships firsthand. Yeah, there's note brokers, there's websites online, with mixed results, I would say.
You really want to do your due diligence about it, though, because you're giving people a lot of money, so you want to make sure they're credible, they are insured, they, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're, they have credible businesses. Okay, so let's switch tracks just a little bit, and let's talk about you and your business for a bit. How long have you been doing this as your own business, and what's been one of the biggest challenges for you in growing your practice?
I started note investing back in 2010, so I've been at it for a while. I would say the biggest challenge, and it's something that's totally out of our control, is you either have capital available and no place to buy notes, or you have the inverse of that. You have opportunities to buy notes coming from all over the place, and you don't have any capital available right now. And you can't ever you can't control that, and it's the randomness of the world we live in, and that's okay. What's important is maintaining those relationships, so that if the day comes that, hey, I have a mortgage note, it just got paid off, the money got wired back into my account. Now it's my job as an investor to say, okay, I'm not going to take that money and go buy a fancy red sports car. I'm going to go and buy a new asset with that. Right. And so you have to start getting in touch with people, making calls, reach out to your network, and focus on where is the next asset you're going to buy. And so as far as growing your business with that, it's about maintaining a good activity level on an ongoing basis, because things don't ever line up perfectly, and you want to position yourself in the most optimal way possible. So it's a constant effort to seek out that harmony.
Right. So you, like many businesses, the issue is making sure you've got cash flow. Your business happens to be about investing the cash in the market rather than in the business in a particular way, but still cash flow is an issue. What it sounds like in terms of you being, as you said, consistently available for opportunities is you do podcasts like this. You have written your book so that you get out there that way. It sounds like you do quite a bit of networking. What else do you do to attract clients to your consulting services or your business?
Well, I'm all about building relationships. So it's something I focus a minimum amount of time every day on it, right? And this is something anyone can do, right?
Okay.
Even if all you have is 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day to make some phone calls, send some text messages, emails, in-person coffee meetings, set up a lunch appointment with a colleague, whatever it is that fits into your lifestyle, do it on a consistent basis. And if you tell me you're too busy, you don't have time, everyone can make some time. Just prioritize it. And if you set the bar low enough that all it is I'm going to invest a minimum of 5 minutes a day on this activity, anyone can do that, right? Anyone can spend 5 minutes a day less of scrolling social media on your phone, of binging Netflix, of doing all these other activities that they may feel good in the moment, but it's not a good investment of your time and your focus.
Well, let me play contrarian just for a moment, because a lot of times people will say that phrase of relationships are important in building relationships and so on. So I want to just drill down a bit more on what that means, because to me, like if I think of a relationship, I think of someone who I would want to invite to my birthday party, or I think of someone that I'd phone up and say, hey, let's go to a movie. And so people often say that, and they think that, sending the occasional text is creating a relationship. But part of what I hear is you want to stay top of mind with people. You want them to remember you consistently, but it's also about adding value. So what are some of the ways, because really in terms of relationship in business, really what it is staying connected and adding value.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that they want to stay connected, because if you don't add value, they're not going to want to stay connected. You're just bugging them. And the adding value part is really understanding what do they need now? What's their next step if they're not ready to do this yet, or if they're, just perhaps they're the people who don't know what they don't know. There's a bunch of different categories of people. So what are some of the things you do to add value to people as you continue to develop that relationship?
Well, straight up, it's asking some good questions, asking, are you working on any interesting projects lately? How can I be of service, or is there anything you need that I could help you with? It's just asking those questions. Tell me about your new projects. What do you like about it? What are you having any challenges? And based on that, you can start to see, is there a person I can make an introduction? I'll to give you a great example. I have a colleague that they just launched a book today.
Right.
It just went live today. So what was a way that I could add value? Well, I went on Amazon and wrote a review right there. It took me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Took me 5 minutes to do that, less than that. Right. And even if I don't get the chance to talk to them because they're probably super busy launching a book right now, they're going to see that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be top of mind. And that's not the reason why I did it, but it's just an example. It's just an example. If you're big on social media, maybe you can comment on someone's posts. Share a little bit. You can, if you have a friend that's going through a hard time, maybe you send them a gift. Send them a gift, or have a meal delivered to them, or drop off a gift card for their favorite coffee place and say, "Hey, I want you to have a coffee on me today."
Right.
Little things.
Yeah, I like that. So, Fred, speaking of gifts, you have gifts for our listeners. So a gift for them. So tell them what that is.
Absolutely. I have a note investing guide that I'm happy to send to anyone that wants to request a copy. You can visit giftfromfred.com. Very easy to go there, and you put in your information and I'll send it right to you. For anyone that's curious about learning more about note investing, I mean, we just barely scratched the surface today, but it's a great little read, and we'll explain a lot more about how it works, and you can decide if it's something you want to explore more about. Just go to giftfromfred.com and look forward to connecting that way.
Awesome. And where else can they find you or reach out to you?
Yeah. Reach out to me by going to my website, which is at fredmoskowitz.com, or on all the social media channels.
Okay, so fredmoskowitz.com, and that's Moskowitz or Z, depending which country you're in. So you can go and find Fred and find out more information and get that guide. You can also go into the vault. So log into the vault, which is our compilation of all of the gifts. So you can go and get Fred's gift from there, as well as gifts from all of our other speakers as well. So log into the vault, download all the goodies that you want. And by the way, if you happen to see some other great podcast episodes there that are of interest, you can go and listen to those. Speaking of which, I really, 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 really would appreciate it if you subscribed and or left comments, shared, just basically give me some love, okay? We want to grow this podcast so that people who are too inspired to retire have the opportunity to get some ideas, to get some inspiration, to get resources, and to have different role models for, I could do this, or I could go in that direction, or, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that in terms of making this transition. I want you to know that there's lots of people who have gone ahead and who are living their life, their next chapter, in a variety of creative ways, whether it's becoming a professional investor, maybe something that you do as part-time, might be full-time, whether it's creating your own business, creating a nonprofit. My friends, there are so many ways that you can be the difference that only you can be in the world. So pitter patter, let's get at her. If you are looking for support with that, please reach out to me. We can have a complimentary What's Next call so that you can figure out what your next steps are to create your next chapter with clarity, with confidence, and kicking ass, basically. So let's get busy on that. If you are one of those people who have interest in investing and are looking for different ways to start building wealth or to continue using the wealth you have, however much that may be, then get Fred's book and or his complimentary resource that you can download at Gifts from Fred or from the Vault. Thank you so much for being here, Fred. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Let's leave them with one last piece of advice. If someone's thinking of okay, what's next for me? And what are some steps that I could be taking? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this: if you have an idea or something, a thought that you're curious to learn about this activity, this topic, this experience, then take one action on it immediately before you get up out of your chair. Just take one step, whether it's buy a book or schedule a phone call, schedule a meeting, or send an email asking for more information. Take that first step, because that's going to mean the highest likelihood for your success. The longer you wait, the more possibility it is for for you to end up not taking any action.
And missing that opportunity.
Yeah,
Might be right
when
there.
it's top of mind, do the thing. Whatever the first step is, schedule the meeting or send the email.
Yeah.
Book the class, whatever the class that you want to learn, the new activity. Yeah, just start. And then the next step will unfold for you from there.
Great advice. I am a big advocate that action begets clarity. Clarity doesn't always beget action. So go take an action. Great advice, Fred. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Please pass this on to anyone that you think might be interested in investment advice. And please do subscribe. We have lots of interesting, juicy topics for you. So come back often. Thanks for being here, everybody, and have a bodacious week. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. I'd love it if you left a comment and subscribed. And I encourage you to apply one aha from this interview right away so you can turn your wisdom into wealth and your contribution into positive change. Bye for now.